Right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And in this lesson, Lord willing, I'll try to keep it brief and to the point. I was listening to the video that's premiering, or as I'm doing this video, is currently premiering by the elder apostle Tahar, and it's called Bring Forth Therefore Fruits, Meet for Repentance. And at a certain time point in here, I don't remember exactly where, but maybe around the 30-minute mark or so, he basically mentions how the Most High is not to be played with. And then he mentions about the missiles, how you're going to have a lot of people because the Most High could really get, he might not get to you first, but he might start with your family or your loved ones, your wife, your mother, your woman, your children, and then he might get to you afterwards. Okay? However he decides to do it. So at the end of the day, you don't play with the Most High. You're going to see the missile. You have a lot of individuals that some claim to be in the truth. Some fell out the truth. Some are just out there doing wickedness. Some are just scoffers. All right. And when the missiles come, they're going to see those missiles coming. They're going to have those flashes of the reason why they're about to get burned. And they're going to go through it. Now, we always talk, oh, the missiles are coming. You're going to eat some missiles. You're going to be missile food. And people don't really take it seriously because they don't actually imagine what is that fire going to feel like. Okay. Now, what I have here is I've typed in death by burning, and this is on Wikipedia. And so I'm going to read just a little bit of it just to give a visual of, of course, it's going to be much worse than this, but this is at least a little something. All right. And I have a few precepts on this. So like I said, it will, Lord willing, be a brief lesson. But it says here, death by burning, burned at the stake. Now it says death by burning, also known as immolation, is an execution method involving combustion or exposure to extreme heat. It has a long history as a form of public capital punishment, and many societies have employed it as a punishment for and warning against crimes such as treason, heresy, and witchcraft. The best known execution of this type is burning at the stake, where the condemned is bound to a large wooden stake and a fire lit beneath. And, like they'll show, like these are images right here. They'll have the person tied, witches. And so you see these in like old historically, old movies and TV shows where they'll have like a witch, and then they'll burn them, right, alive. And now here we're going to go into the effects. This is where it's going to really describe it. Now it says, in the process of being burned to death, a body experiences burns to exposed tissue, changes in content and distribution of body fluid, fixation of tissue, and shrinkage, especially of the skin. Internal organs may be shrunken due to fluid loss. Shrinkage and contraction of the muscles may cause joints to flex and the body to adopt the pugilistic stance or boxer stance, with the elbows and knees flexed and the fists clenched. Shrinkage of the skin around the neck may be severe enough to strangle a victim. Fluid shifts, especially in the skull and in the hollow organs of the abdomen, can cause hemorrhages in the form of hematomas. And when you look up a hematoma, it says here they have an epidural hematoma. It says is when bleeding occurs between the tough outer membrane covering the brain and the skull. Often there is loss of consciousness following a head injury, a brief regaining of consciousness, and then loss of consciousness again, right? It says, and so you in the fire, you being burned, all these things, you feeling all of these things, pain, excruciating pain that you can't describe. It says the organic matter of the body may be consumed as fuel by a fire. So that's why this place is going to burn so much, because even the people are going to be used as fuel for the fire. The cause of death is frequently determined by the respiratory tract, where edema or bleeding of mucous membranes and patchy or vesicular detachment of the mucosa may be indicative of inhalation of hot gases. So here it is, you being burned, your skin is shrinking, and melting. It tells you in Zechariah, the 14th chapter, that their eyes shall melt in their holes, and their tongue in their mouth. So all that is happening, you having hematomas, okay? You having, everything at once. Now it says here, and then you breathing in hot gas, which is burning your insides. Shit. It says complete cremation is only achieved under extreme circumstances. So what kind of circumstances you think is going to be when those missiles fly? It says the amount of pain experienced is greatest at the beginning of the burning process, before the flame burns the nerves, after which the skin does not hurt. Many victims die quickly from suffocation, as hot gases damage the respiratory tract. Those who survive the burning frequently die within days, as the lungs alveoli fill with fluid and the victim dies of pulmonary edema. Now here's the difference. Here's the thing, right? This is under a normal circumstance where somebody is burned, they're in a fire or something like that, and this is the process of it. Now, when the destruction comes, that fire, number one, is going to be much hotter, and number two, you ain't going to just, it's just going to burn me quick, and then once my nerves are burnt, I'm good. You don't understand who you're dealing with here. The Most High's intention is to make you suffer in that fire. That's why it says here in the book of Ezekiel 22:19, therefore thus saith the Lord power, because ye are all become dross. Behold, therefore, dross being the unwanted parts, the impurities. Therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem, as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow the fire upon it, to melt it. So will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. I will leave you there and melt you. Now, when you go to the book of Ecclesiastes, I believe it's 12:7. Ecclesiastes 12:7. Let's see. Yeah, now it says, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto the power who gave it. Now, if the Most High said, I'm going to leave you there, that means that you're going to have to feel it for a period of time before he receives your spirit back up. Because the Most High can decide to keep your spirit in that body. The natural order is, like we read here, once your body is uninhabitable anymore, your spirit automatically leaves. But the Most High could have you in there for a while. Okay? Most High could have it to where you're getting burned, but your nerves ain't getting burned. Like they're getting burned, but they're not being destroyed. So they're feeling the pain, but yet they're still staying strong enough for you to continue feeling the pain. That's why you don't mess with the Most High. You understand what it means for him to be the king of terrors? People get terrified based on stories about situations and events like this. Okay? Let's see. Verse 21, yea, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof, and ye shall know that I, the Lord Yahweh, have poured out my fury upon you. See, so he ain't gonna give you a quick death for you to just, okay, I died. No. You're gonna know and understand, yeah, this is the wrath of the Almighty power. This is why you don't mess with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This is why Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is not to be messed with, because he's bringing some serious heat. All right, some real serious heat. Now this is the book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, And that's going to be the day those missiles are shot off. And Yahushua comes with the chariots to light this place up. And all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble. So they're not laying this to heart. They're not laying the fact that a lot of people are going to experience death by burning. Okay, the destruction, a lot of people are going to experience death by burning. It says, and the day cometh that shall burn them up. So people are going to be burned. Saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So you're going to be completely melted, burnt, in pain, suffering, not having no escape. Where are you going to run to? The fire is a lake of fire and you in it. It's like if you're in the middle of the ocean and you drowning. Where are you going to swim to? You can't swim. Your whole body's in water. 5 miles to your right is water. To your left, in front of you, behind you. And you ain't going to be able to. So imagine a lake of fire. You ain't going to be able to even move in that condition. You're just going to be screaming in pain. And the Lord can slow down your perception of time to where something that on the outward could be a minute or 30 seconds or 45 seconds or 2 minutes or 5 minutes, he can have it feel like 5 hours for you. So you don't play with Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's why we serve the Lord with fear and trembling. There's a reason that scripture is written. There's also a reason Hebrews 10 and 31 is written. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. You got to fear the Most High. And the whole world is going to find out real soon why it is that you got to fear the Most High. Now, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his charagma in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. So that means when you in it, you ain't escaping. Because this is going to come with wrath, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb. Now let's look up the word tormented. Because people don't seem to understand that this is not a joke. People run their mouth, they scoff, they play games instead of doing the work of the Lord. You're going to find out, man. You're going to find out. Now, the word torture here says to question by applying torture, to vex with grievous pains of body or mind. All right? Pain, toil, torment. All right? That's what's going to be happening. Pain and suffering. And the Lord is going to leave you there. Because the Lord is the only one that can deliver you from that. And here it is. He said, nah, I'm throwing you into that so you can feel that. So, hey, once again, a lot of people going to go through this death by burning. And we hoping that we are not on the list to go through death by burning. We rather go through the spiritual fire and serve the Lord and get it the first time around. We don't want to learn the hard way. That's all right. The scriptures already tell us what we got to do and how to avoid this. So we're gonna do that. Because so you got a lot of these individuals, your vocab Malones and all your scoffers and those that are on his side talking shit against the prophets, against the men of the Lord. You're gonna go through this. And when you do, you're gonna realize that it ain't a joke. And Lord willing, we're gonna be in a chariot looking down at it. Because the Most High is not mocked, neither is Yahushai, and neither are the men of the Lord. So you better take heed to yourself how you move, lest this end up being your fate. And this is going to be the painful realization. So with that, I hope you've been edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.